The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of this platform, its hosts, or its affiliates. Viewer discretion is advised.
So I want to introduce to you guys the gentleman who's coming to the stage today. He is a Baba. All right. So, Dr. Umar.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today, sir?
Peace and Pan-Africanism. Black queens forever.
All right, we're getting ready to get started. Get started early. We had a little talk earlier today, and we were talking about the fact of African Americans in our country today. Are we thriving or just surviving? And I proposed that question to you earlier today, and I want to propose it to you again in front of this audience so you can talk to them. In your opinion, do you believe that African Americans or Black folks in general, are we thriving or surviving right now? We barely getting it done, or what's your thoughts?
I would say that we are drowning. We are neither thriving or surviving. We are drowning. When I look at the suicide rate for Black girls, they have the fastest growing suicide rate in America post-COVID. Number one killer of Black men are each other. Second leading cause of death of Black men between 20 and 40, suicide. Third leading cause of Black men between that same age group are preventable injuries or reckless behavior. I look at the fact that 75% of our children are being raised exclusively by the mother. I look at the fact that we don't have a single Black community in these United States that operates independently as a Black Wall Street, meaning there's no place I've been to in America, nor that I know of, where we own our own bank, our own school, our own hospital, and our own supermarket. You need a bank to invest in the people, a hospital to save the people, a supermarket to feed the people, and a school to teach the people. And nowhere in this country do you find those four things in the same area. And then when I look particularly at Cleveland, I find it interesting that this is one of the few Black cities where we are in the numerical majority. 47% of the 350,000 residents of the city of Cleveland are Black. 37% are white. And even though we predominate numerically, we are still disenfranchised, economically exploited, and politically oppressed. Absolutely unacceptable.
And why you think is that?
Well, number one, you cannot control Black people, you cannot exploit Black people, and you cannot disadvantage Black people without the participation of the Black bourgeoisie. So in Cleveland, I'm sure there are members of the coonocracy who operate in the favor of the white power structure and against the interests of Black people. That is 5 families of the coonocracy or the Black bourgeoisie. Number one, you have your media coons. The media coons are Black people who own radio, newspaper, magazine, TV, podcasts, who do not discuss the critical issues in our community. They don't talk about the food deserts we live in. They don't talk about the fact that although 65% of Cleveland's public school students are Black, 67% of Cleveland's teachers are white. Why in a predominantly Black school district are most of your teachers not Black? They won't talk about that. But they will talk about who won the NBA Finals. They will talk about who hit the lottery. They will talk about who got shot at the mini market last night. But they will not talk about the critical systemic issues that affect Black people in Cleveland that were introduced from the power structure. They will blame the victim and never blame the perpetrator. So you have your media Negroes, then you have your higher education bourgeoisie. These are black people who work for the school system, the university system, the community college system. And when they're asked why black people are in the condition that we are in, they will blame single mothers, poverty, rap music, sagging pants, and Instagram. Although those are contributing factors, they are not causes. The reason black people exist in poverty in Cleveland and everywhere else is because the Federal Housing Authority created a situation where they helped poor white people escape to the suburbs 40, 50 years ago on low interest loans and handouts, and they trapped black people in the ghetto and then stripped the inner city of the resources that they were given to poor people with the same income out in the suburbs. So everything that happens to us is introduced from the outside. We are at fault because we don't do anything about it. We are at fault because we don't organize and resist. We are at fault because we don't push back. The third family of the black bourgeoisie is your elected officials. Not all, but most of them. Negroes who are in positions of influence and power, but are paid to do nothing to assist black people. That's number 3, I think it was. So you got your media Negroes, your higher ed Negroes, your elected black bourgeoisie. Then you have your entrepreneurial bourgeoisie. These are black people who have made a decent living for themselves, come from the ghetto, and after they escape to the suburbs with a nice house and a nice car and probably a snow bunny, they turn their backs on the back of other blacks. And the last of the 5 families, Baba, is the religious bourgeoisie. And I would argue that the religious bourgeoisie is the most dangerous because they have the most control over the way black people think. Basically, what they do is they evangelize oppression, and they evangelize dysfunction, and they evangelize white supremacy that makes black people think we're in the condition we're in because Jesus put us in that condition, or Muhammad or God put us in that condition. In other words, they never point the finger at systemic inequity, systemic injustice, or systemic racism. They come up with fancy religious excuses that rock black people to sleep instead of waking them up to organize against oppression. If you really are trying to lead your people away from the devil, why are you so comfortable with your people living in hell?
So if that's the case and the suppression is distraction, then what's our counter move?
The counter move is mass organization. Everything begins with organization. As the right, excellent, honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, the greatest black leader of the 20th century and the greatest humanizer of all time, and the only major leader we had after Frederick Douglass to give us a movement that wasn't tied to a religion. Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X said, it's not that white folks are more intelligent or Asian or Arabs or East Indians are more intelligent. They simply out-organize us. Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael said, if you organize a little, you get a little done. If you organize some, you get some done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get anything done. Black people are completely disorganized. And until we hate racism more than we hate each other, nothing will change.
So I want you to tell everybody about racism.
Yes, sir.
Because I think people get confused sometimes about when you talk and when you speak, they take your passion
for anger.
And
it's not anger, it's love for my people.
And they take it as racism. So I want you to explain that a little bit.
Sure. First of all, I cannot be a racist because racism is a group system. There's no such thing as individual racists separate from the system of racism. That's like being on the Cleveland Browns, and I'm a Brown, but I can't exist separate from the Cleveland Browns organization. So there's no such thing as an individual racist. You're only racist by direct relationship to a racist system. So there's no such thing as individual racist. I can be prejudiced. Yeah. I can dislike white people because they're white, which I don't. I can hate white people because they're white, which I don't. I can be prejudiced. Racism is prejudice plus power. You got to have the power to implement your prejudice to disadvantage people's lives. I don't control nobody's mortgage. I don't control the education of nobody's children. I don't control the police department in nobody's neighborhood. I don't control the criminal justice system in nobody's county. So there's no way that I can be racist. Now, racism, so that African people understand the difference between racism and bigotry, because I don't believe every Caucasian is a bigot. I do know every Caucasian is a racist. What is the difference? A bigot is someone who has an emotional connection to the degradation of African people. In other words, I hate you because I think black people are inferior. I hate you because I think black people are monkeys. I hate you because I don't think black people can do anything right. That's bigotry. I have a hatred for you. Most white people may not have a hatred for black people, but they're all racist. Racism is about three things, and racism is only about three things: complete control and domination of resources, opportunities, and privileges. Let me say it one more time. Racism has nothing to do with how white people feel about you personally. That's bigotry. Racism is, I hate you. Bigotry is, I hate you. Racism is, I want white people in Ohio to be in absolute control, domination, and monopolization of all the resources, all the opportunities, and all the privileges. And because black people don't understand racism, that's why it's such a potent weapon against us. Because we will think if a white woman lays down with me and give me a baby, she's not racist. If I sleep with them, if I smoke weed with them, if I live with them, if I hang out with them, if I pledge a fraternity or sorority with them, that means they're not racist. That has nothing to do with racism. A white woman can have your baby and still discriminate against your black ass. Racism ain't got nothing to do with sex, religion, or none of that. It's about military and political control. And until black people understand racism, we'll never get out of it.
Let's talk about the state of the black men and boys. The education department is now dismantling federal education as it goes on. Our young black boys, suspensions are being surged. We're surging in suspension around the country as it relates to African-American boys in school. And we're seeing calculated resets on black male potential. And I asked you earlier, and you said it was a form of Jim Crow 5.0.
5.0, Jim Crow 5.0.
And so I want you to break that down and why you feel that.
First of all, let's go back to 1954. United States Supreme Court outlawed the use of race in public education. Black people were learning just fine prior to 1954. They did not desegregate public schools so black children could get a better education. They desegregated black schools because they were concerned about the growth of black excellence. Keep in mind, we invented the gas mask before we went to school with white children. We invented the stoplight before we went to school with white children. We invented the refrigerated truck before we went to school with white children. They did not desegregate to help us. They desegregated to hinder us. They saw Black Wall Street in Tulsa. They saw Black Wall Street in Rosewood. They saw Black Wall Street in Wilmington, North Carolina. They saw Black Wall Street in Charleston. They saw independent black communities even here in Ohio. And they decided that if we want to stop the progress of black people, we must take over control of their children's education. And when they desegregated the schools, they did not bring black teachers with black students. The biggest layoff in public education is between 1954 and 1974 of black teachers. They brought our children into the schools. They fired the teachers. And so when our black children were bused into white schools, having to deal with not only bigoted white students, but bigoted white teachers, there was no black teachers in there to protect them. And because many school districts said, we're not going to integrate. We don't care what you say. So the federal government came up with a plan called special education. And in 1974, they invented special ed to give white school districts the opportunity to make money off of the miseducation of black children. And basically the agreement was take these black children into your white schools. We will let you resegregate, but you can't do it based on color. We're going to give you 13 disabilities. And the main disability has been the so-called learning disability. And if you get your white racist school psychologists who still work in Cleveland schools today to evaluate these black children and call them reading disabled, math disabled, comprehension disabled, intellectually disabled, emotionally disabled, you can separate them from the white children in a class of their own. So special education was created to undo the effects of desegregation. Now, let me say this. Black boys don't need a special school. Black boys don't need a special curriculum. Black boys don't need a special education. The problem is they have flipped this situation on its head, and they have the black community looking at our boys as if they are the problem. Nothing's wrong with black boys. The problem is the white teachers, who are 67% of Cleveland's teachers, don't care about the black boys they teach. So you should be intervening with the white teacher. But because of Snow Bunny privilege, she cannot be blamed. The white woman cannot be blamed for the failure of black boys. So what do? We let them blame our boys for why they can't read. We let them blame our boys for why they can't count. We let them blame our boys for why they can't sit still. And nobody ever points a finger at the racist white teacher. Public education is the only industry in America where the customer is blamed for not getting the product they paid for. When you go to the supermarket and your food is spoiled, you go back to the supermarket. When you buy an automobile and your car doesn't work, you go back to the auto shop. But when black kids come home and can't read, we don't look at the teachers, we blame them.
So, are y'all ready for this? He's just getting started. All right.
Let me say this real quick.
I told y'all, he's just getting started.
In order to teach a child, you have to care about them. Are y'all listening to me? In order to teach a child, you have to care about them. No child is going to take a risk at being embarrassed and humiliated in front of their class unless they know that teacher unconditionally cares about me. If I don't feel love in my classroom, if I know she's only there to pay her mortgage so her and her white police officer husband can pay their bills, then why would I try? The biggest thing missing from Cleveland schools, Dayton schools, Cincinnati, Youngstown, Ohio, the biggest thing missing is teachers who care. You got to love a child in order to teach them. Our babies are being victimized by psychological terrorism every day they walk into these schools. And then when the boys can't sit still long enough to learn about Christopher Columbus, when they can't sit still long enough to learn about Helen Keller, when they can't sit still long enough to learn about Anne Frank and Thomas Jefferson, they want to send them to the psychiatrist and get an ADHD, ODD, CD, IDD, BULLSHIT. Listen to me. Don't you ever let a teacher tell you your child needs medication to get an education. Our children don't need medication to get an education. Boys are active by nature. Black ones, white ones, brown ones, red ones, yellow ones. The problem is the schools are run by women, and those women expect boys to behave like girls. And when he can sit still like the girls, he's considered to be disabled. If we had more black male teachers, we wouldn't have this problem. When boys go through puberty, and their body starts to prepare for their ability to produce children, they start producing testosterone in high levels. Testosterone makes you energetic. Testosterone makes you want to jump, run, climb, tackle somebody. When girls go through puberty, their body starts to generate high levels of estrogen. When girls are going through puberty, they want to lay down, they want to sleep, they want to take it easy. Boys are the exact opposite. And the problem is that the American public school system is not designed to cater to the needs of black boys. So they send you to the doctor, and the doctor going to give you a Ritalin prescription, an Adderall prescription, a Metadate prescription, a Cycler prescription. Put your son on crack. Here's the problem. You got black men all over Ohio in jail for selling crack. So if crack is not a good thing, why is it okay to put crack in a baby bottle, give it to my son, but it's not okay for his father to sell it? If his father goes to jail for 5 years from being caught with crack, I'm sure crack cannot be advantageous to the child. And what are the side effects? Kill brain cells. What are the side effects? Mess with kidney, liver, and heart function. What are the side effects? Sleeping disorders, eating disorders, psychosis, depression, homicidal thought, and suicidal thought. I had a professor tell me in college that 15% or more of the crime in the black community can be directly attributed to the long-term side effects of psychiatric medication. Our children do not need drugs, they need love.
We're going to talk about your book, because now we're here today and we want everybody to know he has a book that he has published, and we have them over there at the table there, that if you're interested in it, we're going to raffle off a couple of them today as a gift for folks who came to the program today. But I want to talk to you, if you don't mind, telling everybody about your book that you wrote and some of the tools that they can use from that book to kind of help them deal with students or their kids going through this process.
Well, my first book, Psychoacademic Holocaust, the special ed and ADHD wars against black boys. I wrote that book because as I traveled the country, being a certified school psychologist, I noticed that most black parents knew nothing about educational law, and they knew nothing about behavioral procedure, and they knew nothing about special education policy. So when I wrote Psychoacademic Holocaust, I thought that I hit the nail on the head. But parents came back, and although the book benefited them, they still had a lot of unanswered questions. So I said, I got to get more technical this time. I got to really go down to the grassroots and make sure they understand this thing. And so Black Parent Advocate grew out of a need to make sure black parents, particularly mothers, since they're raising so many of our children alone, that they would have a how-to manual on how to deal with any problem the school throws at you. So half of that book are letters that you can reproduce, put your name on it, take mine off, and give to the school. So for example, if you think your child is mentally gifted and they're refusing to evaluate your child for mental giftedness, and they do that a lot in black school districts because a lot of white people don't think black kids can be mentally gifted. So I have a letter in there that you reproduce and you send it into the school. If Ohio State Department of Education still has a gifted policy, you can still request a gifted evaluation. A lot of parents don't know that. Let's say you want your child evaluated for speech in preschool, because special education begins at age 3 and special education ends at age 21, or high school graduation, whichever happens first. So if you got a 3-year-old in preschool and they have a speech problem and you want to get them some speech services, you can contact the special ed department of Cleveland Metropolitan Public Schools and say, I have a 3-year-old who I think can benefit from speech services. I have the letter in there. Now let's look at the other side. Let's say your child been in special ed 3 years, still can't read. Special ed 3 years, still can't count. Special ed 3 years, still can't comprehend, which means the IEP team has failed your child. That means if we can prove that they have failed your child, not you, because you don't send them to school, not you, because you don't go to IEP meetings, not you, because you don't check homework, but because of the failure of the school. If we can prove the school failed your disabled child, according to federal law, you can make Cleveland Metropolitan Public Schools pay for your child to go to a private school at public expense. I help parents do it all over America. But the biggest problem with helping Black parents get private schools for the disabled children is your paperwork is never organized. You gotta keep your paperwork together, because the first thing I need to see are your child's psychological evaluations. A child with a disability must be reevaluated every 3 years in America. So if your child got put in special ed in the second, there's a 5th grade eval, there's an 8th grade eval, there's an 11th grade eval. If your child got put in special ed in kindergarten, there's a 3rd grade eval, a 6th grade eval, a 9th grade eval, and a 12th grade eval. If you don't have the paperwork, how in the hell am I going to trace this whole situation back to the beginning? And I'll stop with this, and I talk about this in my book. No Black child should be getting evaluated for anything except speech under the age of 7. Did y'all hear what I said? Not reading, not math, not comprehension, not intellectual, not emotional, not ADHD, conduct disorder, and why not? Why is Dr. Umar saying you should never let a Black child get evaluated under the age of 7? Because the earlier the child is, the more likely we can get the diagnosis wrong, Baba. You feel me? Because when a child is young, they're still growing and learning. There's no psychologist in America that can tell you for certain that your 3-year-old is autistic. Now, autism is real, but autism is often misdiagnosed. Why? Because we get them evaluated too soon. And the reason we get them evaluated too soon, Baba, the reason the preschools push it is they want the special ed money. Did y'all hear me? They want the special ed money. They don't care about your child. They want the money. And since special ed begins at 3, if you silly enough to let them evaluate a 3-year-old, okay, they'll put them in special ed so they can get that money. A special ed child is worth, on average, twice as much as a regular child. So let me give you an example. Let's say Cleveland Public Schools spends $10,000 a year on a child, Bob, a regular child. Right. The minute I say he's autistic, the minute I say he's emotionally disturbed, the minute I say he has a reading problem, he ain't worth 10. He worth 20. And they get the extra 10 every year. So if you put your 2nd grader in special ed and they get an extra $10,000 a year, by the time he graduates from 12th grade, that's $100,000 extra for one. So how much money do they get in Cleveland schools for 100? How much is the special ed budget in Cleveland schools for 1,000? They are literally pimping our children in the name of miseducation. And the saddest thing is most of our children who have been determined to be learning disabled are not learning disabled. You know what their real problem is? Lazy disabled. They don't want to learn how to read. They don't feel like learning how to count. They don't feel like learning how to comprehend. And guess what, parents? A lot of you are guilty too, because you are raising lazy ass Black children. They do what they want when they feel like it. What is the number one job of a Black parent in America after you teach your child to love themselves? It is to teach your child discipline. And what is Dr. Umar's definition of discipline? It is the ability to do what you don't want to do when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. And if you graduate a 12th grader who don't have self-control and self-discipline, you have just created a victim for the white power structure.
Dr. Umar, we're going to move on to the sisters now.
Let's talk about the sisters.
We're going to talk about the sisters.
Brown sugar.
The state of Black
butter
women.
almond.
Yes, sir.
Fudge chocolate.
That's right.
Cinnamon and brown sugar.
That's right, sir. We're going to get into that. That's what you like, and that's your lane right there. Black women are under attack politically and economically. How do we protect these sisters without piling more survival labor on their backs?
First of all, and this is to my brothers, and we got a lot of great Black men in Cleveland, great. But collectively, we as Black men have failed our community because we have gotten very comfortable with women being in charge. Let's go back in history just a little bit so we understand how we got here. After the FBI executed Dr. King, they said we have to stop the creation of another black liberation movement. After they killed King, they took out our Prentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, the leader of the Los Angeles Panthers. They took out Frantz Fanon, our revolutionary black psychiatrist. They took out Fred Hampton in Chicago, and they took out George Jackson, Soledad brother. That was the final five. After they got rid of all the true revolutionaries and created the coonocracy, they then said, we have to make sure black people cannot finance any more revolutions. So what's the first thing America did in 1970, 2 years after they killed King? They came into Cleveland, they came into Cincinnati, they came into Youngstown, and they start shutting down the factory jobs that our grandparents used to work at. They did this on purpose to make sure we could not finance any more black freedom struggles. Then they went into the high schools of Cleveland. They went into the high schools of Columbus. They went into the high schools of Dayton. And guess what they did? They removed the industrial building training programs. Once upon a time, you could become an electrician in high school. Once upon a time, you could become a plumber in high school. Once upon a time, you could become a roofer or a welder in high school. The white man did away with all of that. To do what? Create poverty in black America on a scale like we have never seen. And then they start telling black people that if you want to make it in America, go to college. And so for 50 years, we've been sending every black person to college. And what have we got for it? A small group of elitist blacks who think they better than everybody else. And the rest of us got stuck with hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. And most of you don't even work in a profession that has anything to do with the area you got your degree in. They played us. That was a scam between the banks, the government, and the universities. Meanwhile, when I drive through Cleveland, what do I see? White people building the new construction projects, Asians, Latinos building the new construction projects. And if I go ask your mayor why we ain't got more black folks, he's going to say because y'all don't have the paperwork and the certifications. But there's a reason for that. Y'all gutted them programs out of our high schools. And guess what? They don't want to put them back. You know why? Because as long as they're not training black men and black women with the skills that pay the bills. What did I call them? The skills that pay the bills. As long as they're not training our children with the skills that pay the bills, white people will forever dominate the economic landscape of Cincinnati. This is all a scam, a setup, and a hoax. And your black bourgeoisie is not even telling you what they're doing, nor are they fighting back. Cleveland. No, I was in Cincinnati last month. Cleveland has 17 city council persons. 8 of them black, 8 of them white, 1 of them Latino. So in a city that's half black, largest population, half the city council black, why in the hell we ain't got nothing to show for it? Because people are being paid to leave you in the dust.
What they got to do with our black queens?
Everything. Now let's get back to the black queens. 3 things. So first of all, they deindustrialized us. 1980, the CIA came in and dropped crack cocaine off. So all these unemployed black men had a decision to make. You can sell the crack and pay the bills, or you can smoke the crack and deal with the fact you can't pay the bills. Either way, you're going to jail. The 70s and the 80s was the agenda to make the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. Did you hear what I just said? I'm going to say it again. The 1970s and the 1980s were the decades of making the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. The white man said, if we can eliminate the black woman's dependency and trust on the black man, we can split them against each other. And what are we doing all over the internet today? Fighting back and forth. Black women canceling black men canceling black women, and we all look like fools because we're the only people in America who get on the damn internet and tear each other down for the entertainment of non-black people. So then 1994, your first black president, Bill Clinton. Your first black president, Bill Clinton, gave you the 1994 crime bill, which locked up more black people than any president in American history since slavery. He gave us 3 strikes and you out. He gave us mandatory sentencing for drugs. And he gave us 3 strikes and you out, life sentences for dope, and mandatory minimums. Bill Clinton and the Democratic Party destroyed the backbone of the black family. It was that 1994 crime bill that destroyed us. It gave rise to a teenage pregnancy we had never seen before. Yeah, we had teenage pregnancy, but we ain't had nothing like we caught in the 80s and 90s with crack in the Bill Clinton crime bill. And then in the year 2000, George Bush gave the black church an economic stimulus package called the Faith-Based Initiative, where he started paying black churches federal money so they would no longer fight for black people. And that's why I can drive all through Cleveland, and I probably can't find a single black church that's at the forefront. I said at the forefront, not going to meetings. I said at the damn forefront of fighting for better schools, against miseducation, mass incarceration, police genocide, and economic apartheid. Because those are the 5 problems of black America: miseducation, mass incarceration, homelessness, and gentrification, police genocide, and economic apartheid. Anybody running for office, you're not getting my vote unless you have a plan and a program for at least one of them. It don't have to be all 5, because I know you can't do everything, but you can do something. And if you tell me you're running for city council and you want me to vote for you September 9th, 2025, you want me to vote for you November 4th, 2025, and you can't do nothing about the schools, you can't do nothing about the police, you can't do nothing about the judicial crime code, you can't do nothing about economic apartheid or gentrification, what the hell am I voting for you for? We have to fall out of love with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I'm not a slave, so I don't belong in the Democratic plantation or the Republican plantation. I don't need a black president. I don't need a black mayor. I don't need a black council person. I don't need a black state legislature. I want black power. Do not confuse black power with black puppets. They are 2 completely different things. So what I'm saying, Baba, is this. The systemic oppression of the black male, the mass underemployment of the black male, the mass incarceration of the black male has rendered us economically impotent for our women. And I need black women to understand that most black men are not in the condition he's in because he's lazy and trifling. He's in the condition he's in because the power structure, white society, local government, state government, federal government created a system to destroy the black man's ability to be a man in his house. And we should be fighting side by side, black man and black woman, for black liberation and black freedom, black power.
What would a fully protected, empowered, and supported black womanhood look like to you?
A woman with a husband, first of all. Black men got to start marrying our queens. We cannot be serial monogamous forever, brothers. We got to settle down, because if black boys don't see black men married to black women, and I'm guilty, I got to get married too, but I'm going to have 2 queens. That's another conversation. Butter almond and butter pecan. But listen, if our boys don't see us loving our women, they're not going to want to love one either. And this is why you Negroes with the white wives, you got to stop it. Stop it. I ain't got nothing against the white woman. I'll hold the door open for her. I'll help her if she's in trouble, as long as ain't no sister hurt first. Okay? Nothing against her, but this is about us. When you marry into another community, you are investing in another people. Show me who you marry, I show you who you love. You got a white wife, then you committed to white power, white racism, and white supremacy. You cannot talk black and sleep white. And this goes for my beautiful African sisters as well. You must be out your damn mind. laying down with your slave master's great-grandson, giving away for free what they stole for 400 years. Don't you ever, black woman, expose your royal waters to the devil's knife of your oppressor. You don't let your oppressor spray his ancestors in your belly.
Oh.
Listen, when you make a baby, that's two family trees coming together. You got Harriet Tubman in your family tree. You got Sojourner Truth in your family tree. You got Ida B. Wells in your family tree. Do you really think they want to have a cookout with George Washington and Thomas Jefferson? What the hell you mixing ancestors for? Our ancestors don't want nothing to do with them damn ancestors. We date out the race. Not because we can't find a good black person. Black woman, if you don't like the brothers in Cleveland, go get one from Dayton. If you don't like the brothers in Cleveland, go get one from Youngstown. If you can't find no black men in America, they down in Brazil. We got more black people in Brazil than any place outside of Africa. They in Costa Rica, they in Panama, they in Jamaica, Guadeloupe, Turks and Caicos. They in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, they in Canada. Same thing for black men. Don't give me the excuse you can't find a good black women. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. There's more black women than any other population. So if you can't find her here, find her somewhere else. But the truth of the matter is black men date, mate, cohabitate, and procreate with snow bunnies because you wish you were Caucasian yourself.
So let's stay on that topic for a minute. We had a couple of incidents that came off across. One we had talked earlier about was that I felt that I looked at some of your interviews. You gave my man Shannon Sharp a pass. I know that you had looked
Club
at
Shay Shay. Shout out to Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay. He's been around for a while.
He's been Snow Bunny.
And he's been a guy that we all like, we respect. And
I like Shannon Sharp. I like Shannon.
And I looked Shannon. I saw that you kind of gave him sort of a break on what he was doing and the situation is in. Why don't you
I ain't give him a break though, Elder.
All right.
What I said, see, here's my thing. If there's a bunny hopper in this audience, right? And I'm sure there is. I don't disagree with what he's doing. Excuse me. I disagree with what he's doing. It's not personal. It's the business of African re-empowerment. Do y'all understand? Now, that same brother dating a white girl, although I disagree with him dating a white girl, if she tries to accuse him of the unthinkable, and I believe that he's not getting a fair opportunity to prove his innocence, I'ma stand with him. Some people say, why did you decide to support Shannon Sharp when he was dating a white girl? Because what they do to any black man, they do to every black man. Today is Shannon Sharp, tomorrow it'll be you, the next day it'll be me, but not with a bunny, of course, right? So we gotta recognize, y'all, when they take us down, we don't have the liberty of saying, well, she shouldn't have done it or he shouldn't have done it. Judicial decisions are all about establishing precedent. And if we let them establish precedent on something that is unfair, they will carry that out for future generations. Let's take Sean Combs. If Puffy is guilty of the 3 federal charges, RICO, interstate sex trafficking, or interstate solicitation of sex, then he should be held accountable. But what I'm not going to support is y'all keep bringing up the Cassie situation and y'all keep talking about baby oil. He's not on trial for baby oil, right? But if black America, because they don't like what Puffy did, if you tell the white man, go ahead and lock him up and throw away the key when he has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Puffy is guilty of interstate sex trafficking or prostitution, then guess what? The next time a black man comes who is innocent, they'll be able to convict them too, because black America likes tearing each other down so much that we'll let them sentence somebody to court who wasn't even guilty. I'm not going to co-sign that. So I'm going to stand with Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with Puffy until it is proven that they are guilty. But black men have a right to be tried in a jury of their peers, just like everybody else. I'm not standing for wrongdoing. I'm standing for justice.
So in Shannon Sharpe case, is he being done wrong or is he a victim of his own demise?
Both. But he shouldn't have his life destroyed. He had no business dating a 19-year-old OnlyFans snow bunny with no body. He had no right to do that. He had no right to do that. No Cinnabons or nothing. He had no right to do that. But guess what? Her accusing him of sexual assault is something completely different. Now, one thing is for certain, two things is for sure. There's not a white woman on the planet Earth. There's not a Caucasian female on the planet Earth who gets sexually assaulted by a famous black man and do not call the police. This woman alleges Shannon Sharpe abused her once, then came back to a house with birthday gifts and Christmas gifts. She let him in a second time. He abused her again, and you never called the police. You just want some money. Who in the hell believed that? No white woman is letting a black man get away with rape. You can forget it. Most black men who were lynched in American history, going back to slavery, were lynched because white women even hinted at us looking at them the wrong way. Look at what they did to Emmett Till for a whistle. Black men been castrated, beheaded, burned at the stake for even looking at a white woman the wrong way. And you want me to think a white woman let Shannon Sharpe sexually assault her twice for Christmas gifts and birthday gifts? And then originally she wanted to have his big black baby, right?
Right.
What kind of Negro shit? But anyway, see, she wanted the baby because that's what the white girls do with the athletes. And by the way, 70% of upper echelon black athletes date out their race. 70%. So stop talking about most black men don't date white women. The rich ones do. Yes, the hell they do. Okay? Now, she wanted Shannon Sharpe's baby because for the snow bunny, if I can get your baby, I got your pockets anyway. I don't need the ring. So she wanted that baby. But Shannon Sharpe was smart enough not to give her the baby. The problem Shannon Sharpe had, same thing Puffy did. Puffy offered Cassie a settlement too soon, and Shannon Sharpe offered Gabriella Asu Ninjas a settlement too soon. If he would have waited, he might have made off better. Because remember, she only wanted $20,000. Remember, she wanted $20,000 per flat cheek. Damn. After she got with a lawyer, the $20,000 per flat cheek turned into $20 million per flat cheek. And Damn. Then black men got to stop calling our sisters gold diggers. Because I don't know no black woman on OnlyFans who about to get $40, $50 million off of a black celebrity. We never get that kind of money. In fact, black women don't even sue for sex assault. You know why? Because black women are presumed guilty before proven innocent. So most sisters' cases will never make it to court anyway. This is a snow bunny hustle. And since black men want to keep on dating white girls, guess what? I'm going to make some money off this too. I'm going to start a snow bunny leasing agency. You can come lease your bunny until she tired of your black ass. Black queens forever.
I told him that his snow bunny leasing thing is called pimping. And I told him, you can't do that. That's called
pimping. Is the white woman not pimping black celebrities? Tiger Woods' wife was a caregiver. She was a caregiver. Guess what her divorce settlement was with Tiger Woods? $100 million. Look at all that money our brother Kobe, rest in peace, left Vanessa. Vanessa ain't dropped a penny off in Philadelphia yet. They don't care about us. They're there for the bucks. But I'm not blaming the white women. If we that damn dumb, after all we done been through, to give up your entire reputation and life savings for the pale vagina, so be it.
Let's talk a little bit about your school.
FDMG, let's go.
Talk about this school, man. Your school.
Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy for Black Excellence.
You know, you've been getting a lot of slack about your school. People saying, what's going on with the school? I'm gonna
I
tell
love
you,
the good and the bad. Let them
good and
hate.
bad. So
Hate is the oxygen I use to elevate.
I want
Hate me if you want.
tell them when we talked about the school. First, give them an update of where you are with the school. Then
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, 2014, I took my first donation for FDMG in St. Louis, Missouri. 2019, we purchased a 4-building former Black charter school campus in Wilmington, Delaware. That's where we are. This is 2025. So 5 years to buy the school, 6 years to renovate the school. Right now, all renovations are done except we got to tile the floor and rekey the classrooms. Cosmetic surgery. Once we tile the floor and rekey the classrooms, which will be done by the end of this summer, we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. And once we get our certificate of occupancy, we're going to have a grand opening celebration, and all y'all better be there. But if you hated on me, keep your ass in Cleveland. Don't apologize. Oh, Dr. Umar, I was just listening to what the YouTubian struggle streamers were saying on the internet. Nah, family. You don't hate on somebody doing something your ass ain't doing.
So one of the things that I got out of it, I was doing my research and was watching just a lot of your content, and I noticed something that you said. You said, and it goes back to when we talk about community and building and us being a part of our own communities and supporting our own. You mentioned that you received no funds, $0
From Black celebrities.
From Black celebrities.
Yes, sir.
Or anyone in that regards to help you build a school.
Yes,
People
sir.
who can easily write a check to you to get it done. In your mind, what is the biggest holdup on why us as Black folks who have it never give it up?
First of all, I want to say I'm not upset about it because I know Black celebrities are controlled by the white power structure. They own them. Most Black celebrities are surrounded by a white team. They got a white publicist. They got a white lawyer. They got a white accountant. They got a white wife, right? Surrounded by Caucasians. So understanding how easily they can be taken out, because I mean, let's just be honest. We know Michael Jackson was murdered because he didn't want to sell back his interest in the Beatles. We know Prince was murdered because he didn't want to give a certain music company his unpublished music. We know Tupac was murdered because he was politicizing the gangs in LA. We know Whitney Houston was murdered because she wanted her masters and her publishing back. We know these things. We know Bill Cosby was arrested not because he sexually assaulted 40 old white women. He was, Lord. He was arrested because him and his wife had a home in Massachusetts that the second largest oil company in the world wanted to drill under Bill Cosby's house and get to the oil, and Bill Cosby said no. That's why they got Bill Cosby. And although R. Kelly may be guilty and should be held accountable, that's not why R. Kelly in jail. R. Kelly in jail because R. Kelly didn't want to sell his masters to a certain music company. So I know why the celebrities don't want to be seen publicly with Dr. Umar, but I still love them. They call me up, we talk on the phone, they come backstage to my lecture, and I understand where they are, so I don't blame them. This is how I look at it. I look at it like this, brothers and sisters. If I take a big check from a Black celebrity, and that Black celebrity gets accused of the unthinkable, I'm now beholden to defend and protect that Black celebrity. Are y'all following me? So I believe our ancestors, who the Almighty sent into this dimension to help us reach our destiny, I believe our ancestors kept me free of celebrity money. So when the school gets open, I can still say what I need to say and say it about who I need to say it about, because Dr. Umar Ifa Tunde has the freest voice in Black America. Nobody tells the truth like I tell it. And that's why Sister Oprah ain't had me on a couch yet. I should have been on that damn couch.
What about ego?
Who that?
Those celebrities and their reason for not giving you money. We talked about ego, them using it.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to help because they want to brag about it. You know, whenever Black celebrities do anything for the hood, they need to be worshiped, right? They got to come on the stage with a big check, So everybody can take a picture of the $10,000, even though they're worth $2 billion,
Mm.
right? They can't do that with me because I'm considered too controversial for the white power structure. They would have to tuck that money under the table. They don't want to do that. They want to be worshiped. But the biggest reason is the fear. But like I said, I'm not upset though, because I believe the ancestors kept me free from any type of external influence so I can continue to tell the truth. You got to have a truth teller. And I'm the truth teller for our generation. Black power.
All right, we're going to take a couple of questions. I told y'all that we're going to be
Let's
here.
take some
We're going
questions.
to take a couple of questions.
Might have one of my enemies out there asking some dumb shit. Come on.
Ken, where you at? Man, Ken got the mic. Ken, come on up. We're going to start with my man
Where
Jay.
Ken at?
There he is right there. Come on
Who
up.
got
Jay.
the first question?
Jay, right here. Jay, you got the first question. Come on up.
Come on up, brother Jay.
Mic over there. You can get over there. We want, if you got a question, kind of come over on that side because we want to get you on camera and all of that.
Before that first question, because I know we got parents out here, educators out here, we got activists out here, Pan-Africanists out here. If you ever need to reach Dr. Umar, I'm giving you my personal cell number right now. Take your phone out. I do not answer the phone. Do not call me. Text me. Unless you 5'5", thick in the thighs with all natural hair. Here we go. 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. One more time in case you had something to drink before you got here. 215-989-9858. And if we take a photo together tonight, please text it to me. Black power.
So listen, everybody, we want this to be a question. Not alone.
Not a speech.
Not a speech. Okay. So just go ahead and ask your question because we don't want to be here long. Last thing, Lateef. All right, we got a camera on our question, people. We ready to go? All right. First question, Jay.
Test. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm J.R. Fogel. I'm an app developer. And what's your thoughts on the effect AI will have on the economic structure within the Black community? Everybody always talks about AI is going to take your job, but my rebuttal is it's not AI that's going to take your job. It's somebody utilizing AI that's going to take your job.
I think both things are true. AI is going to take a lot of jobs. But to your point, if we get ahead of the artificial intelligence revolution, then we can train and teach our people on how to use AI so it can benefit us. Here's my question. Is there a single one of the Black public schools in Cleveland that's teaching AI to our children? Probably not one of them you see. So we need to get with your CEO of Cleveland Public Schools and find out why we're not introducing the AI curriculum to the children by now, because they should have one by now. I doubt if they're going to do it, because I just read that they're about to cut $160 million from the Cleveland Public Schools budget in 2 years. They got to drop off 1,000 employees, shut down a whole bunch of schools. And I'm disappointed in us because we are not buying up these schools that they shut down. Every time they shut one down, we should be opening up an independent school for our children. But you're correct. If we get out in front of AI, AI can benefit us. But I do have two criticisms of AI. Number one, now that that technology exists, you will never again be able to prove that what you see is or is not the truth. If we thought the FBI and CIA could frame us before, they could really frame us now. They can literally create reality. So I'm very concerned about that for the activists and revolutionaries in Cleveland. Number two, AI is exploiting the hell out of Africa. These AI companies have our African brothers and sisters working for less than $1 a day, filing through all the bits of information that got to be encoded and uploaded. So if we are going to have an AI revolution, my brother, and I support you, okay, I'll work with you, but we got to do something to make sure our African brothers and sisters are receiving a livable wage, because this AI revolution is taking place on the backs of the economic enslavement of African people.
There we go.
Black power.
Next.
Dr. Umar, my name is Mark Foy. Pleasure having you here in the city of Cleveland.
Appreciate you, brother.
Question to you. Can you explain and your stance on Kamala Harris and the threat of white power?
Yes, indeed. I did not vote for Kamala Harris.
Yes, sir.
I did not vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Unlike many black people who believe you must vote even if you have nothing you're looking for, I'm not in that group. My vote is extremely important to me. You don't get it unless you earn it. I didn't hear a single solution from the Democratic Party nominee or the Republican Party nominee when it came to miseducation, mass incarceration, gentrification, police brutality, or economic apartheid. So I had no reason to vote. Kamala Harris, in response to a question on reparations, shook her head and said, I will not do anything specially for black folks. Donald Trump is giving us hell. Kamala Harris would have given you hell too. It would have just been different. Donald Trump is kicking out all non-whites and those who descended from the Africans who built this country. He wanted America to be a whites-only country, right? Yes, sir. Kamala Harris was going to turn it into an immigrants-only country with nothing there for black folks. She was going to suffocate us with immigrants. Donald Trump is suffocating us with white supremacy. Different strategy, same goal.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Black power.
Black power.
What's going on?
Peace, King.
So I know you touched on Shannon Sharp.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain what the difference is between the Shannon Sharp situation and this RG3 situation?
Okay. RG3 also has an activated coon chip. Now, my issue with RG3, and I was very disappointed in Coach Shanahan of, I believe that was the Washington Redskins, who made RG3 come off injury report too soon and end up robbing him of his career. RG3 could have been one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Mike Shanahan robbed him of that by forcing him to play under injury. But when I saw RG3 attack Angel Reese, and he's not the only one, nearly all of them have attacked Angel Reese and kissed Caitlin Clark's backside, right?
Yep.
Now, people say Caitlin Clark is a better player. Okay, but Asia Wilson is the MVP and undisputed best player in the whole WNBA. Y'all not kissing her black side, though. Y'all kissing the white girl. Angel Reese is only 23 years old. She's a baby. Why are grown black men criticizing and condemning a 23-year-old child for the entertainment of white folks? And then RG3 did it with his white wife sitting in the back with a whip, whipping his ass. Get her. So I have no respect for a black man who will criticize a black female child for the pleasure of his white wife. RG3 had one white snow bunny, divorced her. He then got another white snow bunny. And then he got a nerve to tell Ryan Clark he had no business to bring up his wife. So let me get this right, RG3. It's okay for you to attack my little sister, Angel Reese, but Ryan Clark can't point out the fact that you done bunny hop twice? Negro, please.
Thank you.
Hi.
Peace, sister.
My name is Megan Hunter. I'm actually a teacher for Cleveland Schools.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaking to me. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. With no government support and continued challenges finding Black investors and contractors, is it truly sustainable for you to keep FDMG running long term? Or are we seeing the limits of Black self-resilience play out in real time?
Question. Do you have a brother or cousin who was in the audience in Chicago night before last? Because he asked the exact same question.
Really? Not that I know.
But thank you for the question. First of all, you will never see the end of Black self-determination because it's the only path to liberation, right? We are a $2 trillion people. We are a $2 trillion people. So nobody can tell me, and I know you're not telling me this, Queen, nobody can tell me that Black people can't rebuild on our own. If Black women stop spending $30 million on weaves and perms, and Black men, you cannot laugh at them. You know why? Black women wear weaves and perms because that's what you want to see. You don't want a natural nappy-haired Black woman, so shut your ass. You can't laugh. They look like that for us. Let's be honest. If we went home and told every Black woman, you got to go natural or I won't date you, they'll pour all that out tonight. It'd be over with. But we don't want a natural Black woman. We want artificial white women. So that's what they do. Now, Black men, $2 billion on Air Jordans a year. He didn't even got a Black woman. $4 billion on liquor. $13 billion on video games. We own 3 times the amount of Mercedes Benzes as white folks, and yet you have less than 1/3 of the wealth of white people. What are you doing with more luxury cars than white folks, and you ain't even got their wealth? Come on. We don't have a money issue. We got a priority issue. Where is your economic discipline? Now, to answer the question, we don't have an issue with black investors. You know why? FDMG was financed by y'all. And we've never had a problem getting enough money to operate the small school. So that was never an issue. The issue was getting black contractors who had integrity and character to not take our damn deposit and not come back and finish all the work. You feel me? That's what the problem was. So I think where we are is a good space. I think too much is being made of the timeline, which as someone who's an educator, that ain't a bad timeline, okay? I know schools that ain't open in that long. So I think we're doing okay. And once we open up FDMG, we're going to open up FDMG Cleveland and FDMG Youngstown and FDMG Cincinnati. But the other part of your question, because you talked about sustainability. We own our school outright. No mortgage. We own it. It's ours. So once we take care of our overhead, our insurance, our salaries, we good. The point that I'm making, good sister, is we're going to grow to the financial capacity of our school. What I mean by that is when we open up school next year, it's going to be 2 second grade classes, 2 third grade classes, 2 fourth grade classes. Nice and slow. That's not only for financial reasons. That's for psychological reasons, because I got to make sure I can trust the teachers I hire. Because when we start hiring, every coon in Black America, and every bunny hopper and every pretendian is going to try to get a job at my school and undermine the agenda. So I got to make sure I could trust who I got before we grow big. My biggest problem at FDMG will not be keeping the doors open. My biggest problem at FDMG is how do I turn away all them black boys whose parents are at my door begging and knocking. Dr. Umar, my son needs to school. I ain't got nowhere else to take him, but I can't overwhelm my teachers by giving them too many students. That's going to hurt, that I'm going to have to turn people away. But here's the good news. We got the Frederick Douglass High School right across the street. We haven't started renovation on that yet. You feel me? We've only been focusing on the Garvey building. Once we done the Garvey building, we're going to go to the Douglass building. You feel me? And we're going to start fresh. So if we do got any black contractors here who's interested in helping us renovate the high school, you got my number. Please text me. We could fly you down to Philadelphia, drive you 20 minutes to the front door of FDMG Wilmington, Delaware, and see if you can help us get that high school ready. Because I don't want to go through in the high school what I went through in the elementary school. Black power. Thank you, sweet brown sugar.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Kenn. I am the youth leader of the SPOT Youth Empowerment Organization. And my question is, how can Black people successfully come together to make a Black Wall Street?
Okay. The biggest problem we have, Princess, is a lot of us don't believe. Another problem we got is a lot of Black people would rather be aligned with white people than their own. In order for us to build a Black Wall Street, you got to convince Black people they need a Black Wall Street. And then you got to convince Black people to stop fighting long enough to do something together. Here's the problem we got, Princess. Racism and slavery have convinced us that the only people we have to respect are white people. So most Black people have no respect for other Black people because of how we have been conditioned. You follow? So what we have to do in this audience and throughout Cleveland is separate Black people who really want to see us free from those who don't care. Because in this audience, only about 1 in 4 Black people are serious. You got about 20% bunny hoppers in here. You got a whole bunch of people talking about they never came from Africa. You understand? You got a whole bunch of agents for the FBI, the white power structure. You see what I'm saying? So first we got to pull out who's real. Once we separate the real from the fake, we then got to find out who's willing to work. Because a lot of Black people will talk Black power and they will talk Black liberation, but when it comes to start committing your money to the project, they know where to be found. You feel me? So like Jesus said, we got to go fishing for the people we can save. You feel me? Because the worst thing you can do, young lady, is try to save every black person. Find the ones you can work with, leave the rest of them to the white folks. Black power.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr.
Yes,
Jamal.
sir.
Question. My name is Dwayne Owens. My question is Carmelo Anthony and the stabbing,
Yes.
race justice and the double standards. The Carmelo Anthony stabbing, just a moment. Hard time with this here. A lot of controversy, and you've spoken on it. What do
Yes.
you think that the situation reveals about how the justice system handles violence between black men versus how it handles white men in similar situations?
Carmelo Anthony was minding his business at a track meet in Frisco, Texas. Two racist white boys decided to go over there and accost him because white people since slavery have always felt that they have complete jurisdiction over the black body. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't feel they have to respect our boundaries. So these two white boys, both of which were bigger than him, they were going to jump him, drag him out, and probably hurt him. So Carmelo warned him. And he said, if you touch me again, it's going to be a problem. That's a warning to leave me alone. They decided to go after him again. And so he pulled out his weapon and defended his life. I'm trying to understand why black people are making so much issue over the fact that a black boy had a knife. If you're a black man in America, you better carry something when you're walking on these damn streets. So I don't have a problem with him carrying a knife. I carry one too. Now, I don't believe Carmelo intended to take a life. And rest in peace to the child who's deceased. Yes, he's Caucasian, but no parent should have to, have their child predeceased them, right?
Amen.
But something is to be said about the climate of racism and hate in America against black people, where anybody feel like they could put their hands on us and not suffer the consequence. George Zimmerman followed Trayvon to his house and murdered him in cold blood, and he walked. So help me understand why Carmelo didn't have a right to defend himself. I saw on the news today, I don't know if it's true, allegedly, there's a video of the whole incident that they don't want to release.
Okay.
If he's guilty, you would release it. You're not releasing that video because it probably shows he acted in self-defense. Here's the issue. Texas has a stand your ground law. Carmelo Anthony stood his ground. What else is there to talk about? Because according to the Texas stand your ground law, if you felt that your life was in danger, you do not have a duty to retreat. Did y'all hear that? They said, why didn't he run? Texas law does not require you to run. Texas law allows you to stand and fight, and that's what he did. But he's not on trial for that. He's on trial for having the audacity as a black boy to defend your honor by taking a life. Rodney Hinton Jr. is on trial because you had the audacity to avenge the death of your son. And you got black people saying, well, he didn't unalive the cop who took his son's life. He unalived any cop he can find. Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
when white police stop and kill black people, does it matter to them which one they get? Because isn't a black person a black person? Any person working for a racist police district is guilty. I don't support the unaliving of the officer, but I understand black power.
Thank you, sir, and God bless you.
I'll say, how you doing?
Black
brother?
Power King.
Black Power. All right, so in Cleveland, I'll be a part of a lot of organizations. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of things and whatnot, and I'm a teacher too. You know what I mean?
Before you ask that question, you said a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
Every city I go to, we got a lot of organizations. Here's my question. Has there ever been a serious attempt in the city of Cleveland to bring together and organize all the black organizations? Because the biggest contradiction in black America is every one of you represents a different community organization. Y'all don't speak to each other. Y'all don't work together. Y'all compete over grants. Y'all fight. It's like a gang. We gang banging, organizational gang banging. To your knowledge, has there ever been a serious attempt to bring Black organizations together to work together for the collective benefit of the people?
I wouldn't say it has been, but I can say that it is starting to be
Powerful.
You know
All right. All
so
right.
I feel like it's a shift. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like the veil went over or whatever. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like right now we at we have everything in order that we're going to band together. You got your stuff, you planting over here, you organize, you got your crew or whatever. Everybody's starting to now come together. And I feel like with the powers that be in the White House, you know what I'm saying, making us want to band together. Because when he rip and take everything away, we ain't going to have nothing else but each other. You know what I'm saying? So like now we starting to shift towards that. You know what I mean?
Okay. And when you organize, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you have two different branches of this collective organizational solidarity initiative.
Right.
Organizations that are funded outside of the community.
Okay.
Right? Organizations that are completely independent. You feel me? It's not fair to the completely independent Black organizations to have to bear their privacy in front of organizations that are funded by the government and white corporations. Because some of your organizations that are funded by the government and white organizations, those are informant organizations. Their job is to snitch on Black power and progressive action. So if you're getting money from the white man, you still organize, but you organize here. Completely independent, you organize here. And then you collaborate sometimes. But the people who don't get any money from white folks got to have their own space. FDMG, we refuse to take any non-Black funding, right? So I'm not going to no charter school meeting because all y'all funded by white folks. I can't trust you, right? So we got to make sure that we keep them separate, but still allow the collaboration.
Now, the couple questions. Well, like I said, I'm a teacher. My mom, you know, she
Powerful. What grade you teach your subject?
Just K through 8. You know,
Powerful.
I'm the
Powerful.
building sub. You know
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Powerful.
I'm 31. You feel me? They need to see something that's different than, you know, I don't
Yes,
play
sir.
ball.
I'm glad you did it. More brothers need to go and sub. Yes. I'm glad you did it.
But so my mom, she's doing the program. She's trying to get the kids from K through 3rd to be able to be on the reading level. You know what I'm saying? Because they take a test in 3rd grade and that follows them all the way to they in high school.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I just found it out because I just started, you know, my mom, she been researching and doing it. You know what I mean? Her nonprofit. So, but big ups for her. I support her fully. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I mean? The literacy rate is crazy. Since I've been in the school, I realized like, dang, you don't know what that, you know, but I understand. You know what I mean? It'd be like that, you know. But two things. Abraham Traore.
Ibrahim Traore, yes.
Yeah, Ibrahim Traore.
I'll be speaking at a rally in his honor in Harlem Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
but I support him. I completely support him.
Yeah.
I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, we need more of that courage.
Yeah.
Nobody should be interested in being a Black leader unless they're willing to sacrifice their life, because you're not going to free Black people without pissing off white people. Any Black person you elect to office who ain't got no issues with the white power structure, they serve in the white power structure. They are not serving Black people.
Do you think that the United States of Africa can be?
It can be. Here's the two obstacles to the United States of Africa. Number one, most African presidents don't want to give up complete sovereignty. See that? Ego. I like being in charge. If you're going to federate, you're more of a governor than the president now, right? A lot of them don't want to answer to nobody. Ego. Number two, if I'm engaged in corruption, scamming, hustling, taking deals, I don't want no United States of Africa, because now I can be held accountable and exposed. Third, the white man don't want Africa to federate, because if Africa federates, it'll be harder for him to go in and exploit individual countries. He likes a small Togo, a small Benin, a Congo here, a Nigeria here. It's easier for him to play divide and conquer, separate and rule, to keep Africa as 54, 55 countries. It plays to the white man's advantage. He don't want no federation. But can we do it? Must we do it? Shall we do it? Absolutely.
And last thing, I'm open to working with you.
Sure, shoot me a text. You ain't got no white woman, right?
Nah.
All right. Yeah, shoot me a text. No, appreciate it.
All right, y'all, we're going to kind of get through this because we got to try to get through this line. So let's keep the questions going.
Okay. First of all, how you doing, sir?
Peace, King.
All right. So my name is Javier Scarborough. I'm a mobile mechanic here in Cleveland.
Powerful.
Road Ready Mobile Auto Repair. How y'all doing?
You got a website?
Yes, sir.
Tell them what it is.
Road Ready Mobile Auto Repair on everything, IG, Facebook. You want to talk to me afterwards, you can.
And you come to them.
I'm going to come to y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all afterwards.
Okay. But I mean, you come to them if they need your service.
No, yeah, of course.
Okay,
mobile,
that's powerful.
So,
Y'all need to get with the young brother right there. Give him a hand. We don't hear about that enough.
So it seems like every time that a black movement builds, it gets like destructuralized.
Yes.
So how do we make sure psychologically that we maintain that traction over to the next generation?
Okay, great question. First of all, there's no guarantee that your movements will not be destroyed, right? We are a numerical minority amongst a much larger white majority, and that white majority weaponizes every single immigrant group against black people. Did y'all hear what I just said? Every group that comes here is weaponized against us. So I don't know why black people running around talking about multiculturalism. I don't know why black people running around talking about we got to organize with reds, browns, and yellows. They can't stand your black ass. Cut it out. Organize with yourself. Now, here's the thing. I had an ADHD moment. The ancestors hit me. Hold on. Give me that question one more time.
How do we psychologically maintain the traction of building a black movement and carrying that over to the next generation?
Here's the problem. One of the biggest problems in the black community, two of the biggest problems in the black community, one of them, we don't have an intergenerational transfer of leadership. Did y'all hear what I just said? We do not train and prepare the next generation to replace us. We don't do it in the mosque. We don't do it in the church. We don't do it in the community organization. The black community has more leaders over the age of 70 than any other community in America. Why? Because black people are so used to not having power. I need y'all to quiet down under that roof over there. Getting kind of loud over there. I'm trying to talk to the people. Don't make me come over there. I will. Don't play with me. Please don't. I'll snatch your coon chip out your heart. Listen. Don't play with Dr. Umar, please. I'll make you an example. I'm from the ghetto, just like you. Listen. We need to train the next generation on how to lead and how to organize. The reason we got 1 million churches in Cleveland ain't because everybody in love with Jesus. It's because when a young pastor came back to Cleveland from seminary school, he wanted to give a couple Sunday sermons. And the pastor said, no, I'm the pastor. I built this church. My grandpa built this church. I've been the pastor for 50 years, and I'm not going to sit down until I feel like it. So the young leader gets discouraged, and what he do, y'all? He go open up his own church. And guess what? When he turns 70 years old, he going to do the same thing to the next young leader that was done to him when he was young. And the reason black men in particular don't like to share power or train their replacements is we're not used to having power. So whenever we taste a little bit of authority as oppressed black men, it goes to our head and we never share or transfer until it's too late. Can I ask you a question? Why is the average age of the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington, D.C., your 59 democratically elected U.S. reps and your 3 U.S. senators, why is the average age about 69 years old? The people who's supposed to be fighting for us are old enough to be great-grandparents and grandparents. I'm not saying they got to retire, which takes me to my next point. We need a council of elders in Cleveland. Are y'all following me? We don't ever throw away our elders. That's our wisdom. But now they sit on a council of elders and they advise the youth. So you can still lead, but you can't be on the front line of the struggle because at 69, you're not trying to take a bullet or go to jail. But the ego of the Negro. Let me say it again. The ego of the Negro is the biggest obstacle to the progress of our people. Great question, Prince.
Thank you, sir. Stay safe.
Appreciate you.
Peace,
Talk to me, my butterscotch queen.
Peace, Dr. Umar.
Peace, queen.
I'm an avid follower.
Thank you,
I
sister.
donated to the school.
Thank you, sister.
My family, my household, we watch you like we used to watch when the Cosbys
Appreciate
come on
you.
and everybody
Appreciate
gather.
you.
My question is your thoughts on Rodney Hinton's case. Are you familiar?
I am.
Okay.
I'm familiar. I think Rodney Hinton might be the reincarnation of Nat Turner. I'm hoping that they don't seek the death penalty. That's my main hope, right? Because I know they're going to try to bury the brother. But at least if he can escape that death penalty, we got a chance to get that case retried down the road. You follow what I'm saying? So that's what I'm hoping, because the police want to do him in. So I'm just hoping that. And here's the racism. You hear about Rodney Hinton Jr., and you don't hear a damn thing about Ryan Hinton, his son who was murdered, or any justice for him. They have completely swept the son under the table, no conversation, no accountability, and they just want to focus on him. And you know what's sad? You got black people standing with the white power structure against Rodney Hinton. Here's my thing. If you are a coon, let me talk to my coons for a minute. If you are a coon, I'm not expecting you to fight for me, but can you at least keep your damn mouth shut when you are asked about me? See, I don't expect Charles Barkley to ever speak up for black people. I don't expect Candace Owens to ever speak up for black people. I don't expect Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to ever speak up for black people. But when they ask you something about black America, say, I have no comment. You ain't got to fight for me, but can you please not hurt me? That's all I'm asking for the coons.
That's good. Thank
Black
you.
power.
Thank you.
All right, y'all, we're getting down to the last. I think we got 5 people. We're going to make these the last questions right here, and we're going to close this off.
How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. Peace, King.
How you doing? I'm here on the behalf of Tamir Rice family.
Tamir Rice, yes. Rest in peace to Tamir Rice. Rest in peace. And I didn't like that case because that was one of the cases, if I'm not mistaken, no justice was served at all.
No,
and I'm not even sure if the police officer was ever held accountable.
No, he wasn't.
And Tamir's case was exploited by the so-called Black Lives Matters opportunists, if I'm not mistaken. He's one of the first cases to get exploited by Black Lives Matter for money. Go ahead, my brother.
You absolutely correct. And my mother and I are still fighting for justice. I'm just here asking, are you really down to start the Black Wall Street? Because I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Just let me know what's up.
All right, shoot me a text. Let me make sure you're not an agent. Let's do some work together.
No, I'm not no agent.
I'm picking with you, King.
Yeah. No, I'm down for the cause, and
yes,
I
sir.
listen to you every day. Even
Appreciate
your old podcasts and old interviews, I still
appreciate
and
you.
listen to.
I'm working on my own platform because TikTok banned me from going live, Twitter banned me from going live, Facebook banned me completely, and Instagram suspends me every other video, even when I'm not talking about white folks. All right, shoot me a text. Let's wrap on that. I need something straight. No white platform. Straight to the internet. All right.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
Are you offering trades once you?
Absolutely. The high school. Absolutely. Yes. I have to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's it.
We will have agricultural science, agronomical science, political and military science, economic and financial science, African spiritual and astrological science, and also science of the black man, woman, and child, teaching them how to be fathers and men.
That's beautiful.
And if you want to work at the school, send me your resume, FDMG resumes with an S at gmail.com. Make sure it has a cover letter. Ladies, although the school will be boys, the teachers and staff will be co-ed. We will have women and men, but you got to be natural. No weave, no perm, no straightening comb, no white girl hair color. Black men, if you are dating outside your race, you cannot work at my school. Next question.
Hey, Dr. Umar, I met you a couple times now, man.
Peace,
Pleasure to see you again, King.
Likewise.
So I'm Councilman Howard, city of Warrensville Heights here.
All right.
And we are the blackest city in Ohio, densely populated. Warrensville Heights.
Warrensville Heights. I never heard of Warrensville Heights.
You got to come check us out.
Okay.
I'll shoot you a text. So I'm always fighting for black power and everything it is we do. Legislation,
yes, sir.
Everything. I got a couple of my colleagues.
Powerful.
So with rising autism diagnosis in our communities, what's your thoughts and theory on the autism and vaccinations?
If I'm not mistaken, I hope I didn't leave my cell phone over there, did I? I got it right here. Let me check something real quick to answer your question. I want to make sure I'm accurate. Let me go on my notes. Let me check. I'm almost certain, but let me check for Ohio. Yep. In the state of Ohio, just like the state of Pennsylvania, where I was born, raised, and still live, you do not have to vaccinate your child for public and charter school attendance. So in a place like Ohio, why do we have so much autism when you do not have to be vaccinated to go to school? You got to make sure our parents know their rights, Baba, because a lot of them don't know that, because when they go to register their kids, they say, did they take their shots? And then you have to say, in this state, they don't have to. All you have to do is get a notarized letter stating that my child will not be vaccinated. That's a family decision, and I take full responsibility for it. And they can register in school. Some states like New York, the only way you can get out of vaccinating your child in New York is medical exemption. The doctor has to say something is wrong that you can't take it. Ohio, y'all have philosophical exemption. New Jersey has religious exemption and medical. Ohio has philosophical. So you don't have to blame it on a religion. You ain't got to blame it on a medical problem. You can simply say, I don't trust white folks and my child ain't taking no shots. Right? But to answer your question, the vaccinations are causing the autism. Even the current head of Health and Human Services, Kennedy, he's made it clear. And he's been on it for a while. I respect him because he's telling the truth. For those of y'all who don't know, the autism vaccination interacts with the melanin of black boys. They don't know the mechanism of action, but the vaccination interacts with the melanin of black boys, and that's why black boys have a slightly increased risk of developing autism. Do not vaccinate your children if you can help it. I'm telling you, I work in schools, and the children who are not vaccinated, they are the healthiest children. The vaccinated children, they're always sick, coughing, cold, flu, back pains. Don't vaccinate your children. Vaccinations were introduced into the black community as a means of population control. People trying to get rid of you are not going to help you live longer. And to my elders, will you please stop it with the flu vaccination? Stay out of Walgreens and Walmart. Use herbs. Get your herbs up, your diet, your fruits, your vegetables, your alkaline water. That vaccination is killing our elders, and they not telling you the older you get, the more toxic the flu vaccination is. And if you took the flu vaccination and the COVID vaccination, you're really in trouble. Leave it all alone.
Thank you, brother.
Black power.
Black power.
This is what we're going to do, because Dr. Umar wants to take some pictures with everybody when we get ready. With most of the people, we ain't gonna be able to get everybody.
Everybody, Baba. I never leave an event without everybody. I never do that. So everybody want to pick, get a pick.
You're gonna get a pick. So what I'm gonna do is, the young lady right there is gonna be our last question. And,
okay, the Queen Mother. Come on up, Queen Mother.
And anybody else, y'all stay there, because if y'all want to ask a question, y'all be ready to get your picture, and you can talk to Dr. Umar.
Where you get that red, black, and green bag, my brother?
This is my company. It's called the Akron Baseball.
You
Project.
sell those?
No, this is a personal, but I do sell them.
I need one. Text
I got
me.
you. I'm Donnie Brooks, CEO, founder, baseball coach at Akron Baseball Project Incorporated.
Powerful.
Youth baseball, African American owned.
You want to help me start the baseball team in Delaware? Even if you can't be there, you can help.
I got
us.
you.
Black Power.
I just got back from the BET Awards this week.
And you went there? Why? I'm picking with you.
Yeah. Went there to go and promote youth baseball. I got invited by Jennifer Hudson.
Shout out to Jennifer Hudson. I like the sister.
I was on her show this year in January, so she pretty much set me up to where,
Powerful.
And then
Powerful.
View and everything like that. I wanted to ask, I've been hearing you, I've been listening to you for about 5 years now. I'm 33 years old. We have a lot of the same views.
Yes, sir.
I teach my youth players, boys and girls from ages 4 to 13, about the Black plight, about the African American plight, about the educational system. And I would just love if you would like to either sponsor, endorse, come down to the field, talk to the kids.
Oh, of course. Shoot me a text.
I got you.
That's
Thank
done.
you. Appreciate it.
Pass that to the Queen Mother.
Thank you. Okay.
Greetings, Queen Mother.
Greetings. It's a pleasure and an honor meeting you. I'm here. I'm coming.
Pull your mic up just so we can hear it. There you go.
Because it's not that this is hard for me, but this is real. I mean, like, this here is God's house. And this here world is so out of order and in all sorts of violations. And we here, there, and everywhere.
Yes.
Everything has been taken from us.
Yes.
We done been stripped of all everything, but I'm here. And we're going to get it back. This is God's house. Elon Musk said he's the richest man in the world. But I'm letting y'all know, I'm the most spiritual woman on the face of this here place called planet Earth. God, help me, Father. Give me the strength and the words. Greater is he that is in thee that is in this world. I am the greatest woman. I represent Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. God created heaven and earth. So can someone tell where all this hell is coming from? Which I know. And we're going to get this in order. This is God's house. We have no business answering to no one. God created us.
They buy them over there. They bring them over here. Yeah.
Out of the earth. It did not cost him a penny to create this world, and it's not supposed to cost money to run it. And they running us in the ground, and they taxing us here and there. We don't owe no one a penny or a dime. And we're going to take back everything. Like they saying, you're going to give it back. Elon Musk, I had no idea he was African. You telling me
he ain't no African, Queen Mother?
You telling me Africa is white now?
He ain't no African.
I know it ain't.
I debated his father last week.
And it was black before it was white. Period. Point blank. It was dark before it was light. We have no business answering. We'll get it.
You can't take the pictures looking this way?
My Father has God Almighty, and I got us sisters. And if they don't quit all this, like you said, backstabbing, and quit backstabbing one another, and we're going to get this together, this God house.
I see what you're saying.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Queen Mother. Let me say this on Queen Mother's point, y'all, quickly. We had a very serious political conversation tonight, but I need y'all to understand something. That political energy that we got, it must be balanced with righteousness. A big reason why African people are suffering in America, we have abandoned righteousness. Most of us here today, we are idol worshipers. We worship cars. We worship clothes. We worship expensive restaurants. We worship vacations. We worship nightclubs. We worship the human body. The reason our prayers are not getting up to supreme consciousness, the reason supreme consciousness is not blessing Black America is because Black America is suffocating in a cloud of sin. Your sin is making it impossible for the Most High to respond to our petitions. So we have to start living right. We have to overcome lust, greed, jealousy, envy, gluttony, rage, self-hate. If we don't overcome our spiritual negativity, God will let the white man walk on us for the rest of eternity. This is a double war. It is a war for the souls of Black people. And it is a war for the lives of Black people. You can't fight one and not the other. We fight both simultaneously. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Cleveland, I love you. Black power.